Hey guys, in this week's show, powered by the folks at Thrifty Traveler, Julian Keel, founder of Points Path, is sitting right alongside me as we broadcast with Richard. He does have news on Points Path, but the more breaking news may be, was Julian really reinstated by Uber? Tune in to find out. We're talking about Richard's Disney cruise as well, a pretty awesome Frontier status deal that you might be targeted for. And did United walk back that close-in award pricing increase? All that on this week's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to the Miles to Go podcast. We picked up a straggler who desperately tried to get here this morning, which we'll get into in just a second. But joining us of Points Path fame is Julian Keel. Mr. Kerr, back from his Disney cruise. How are you, sir?
Buenos, they say down south.
Are we down south?
I don't know. Somebody is.
Yeah, none of us are.
No, somebody is.
Love seeing you in your little cubby hole there at work. That's very special. It's very special.
Jeremiah, our producer, should be happy because this is a soundproof phone booth that should make his job quite easy, I would hope. Except I'm the one talking. That's the only thing that makes it hard for anybody. But otherwise, from an audio quality perspective, it should be great.
He did mention the way you may handle the mic as a potential issue as well. So we'll just leave that out there.
You know what? I'm going to say something. Jeremiah just complains. Okay. Richard, you have a very podcast friendly, deep voice. I think you do an excellent job. I think you were worth the raise negotiated with Ed. Jeremiah, though, it's my mic. It's Richard's hands.
Oh, I see. It's about you.
It's about Jeremiah, is what I'm saying. He needs to.
I'm glad you brought up our contract negotiations, Julian.
Yeah.
People don't get looking behind the scenes very often. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to know that I'm locked in for another 3 weeks. So I appreciate Ed's flexibility here.
Yeah, I can almost touch my toes. It's great. So before we dig into the episode itself, I think we just need to cover breaking news for folks who are not a part of our Slack community, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But if you saw the note in the Slack community, Julian, after a long hiatus, was finally reinstated to Uber. Now, this is a celebrated, celebrated nationwide.
Just make another account?
Hold the celebration. Hold on.
So let's read the note as he posted in Slack. Hi, Julian. We're pleased to inform you that a previous restriction on your account has been removed and you can resume using your account as normal. That's really not written very well. Anyway, be aware that any future violations may result in immediate suspension or deactivation of your account without prior notice. So this morning, one of the reasons that we're running a little bit late for Mr. Kerr's timetable is because, Julian, can you share your first experience back on the Uber platform?
Yeah, because I needed to come over here to where Ed is, and so I called an Uber, and it didn't work. It's like contact.
So you were forced to earn built points on Lyft. Poor you.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
that's literally exactly what happened. Except that it took me an extra 15 minutes to work through all that. So yeah. So apparently, whatever violation I've already committed another violation.
I like it.
Yes. I think maybe what happened is the account is reinstated, but the device is not, which effectively makes it useless.
Are you telling me you haven't changed phones since I got you banned from Uber?
Well, that wasn't that long ago. What, 2 years?
I think it was a long time ago.
No, it wasn't that long.
I think so. We'll have to go back. We'll have to go back to the notes.
In any case, no, I don't. I try not to upgrade phones very often, so because it's my phone works fine. Anyway, yeah. So no, I'm still banned from it.
Nice.
Well, we welcome you in the Lyft family for the most rewarding.
You know what?
parts,
I keep telling everyone I like Lyft a lot. I actually do. I think they're pretty good. I have no complaints. I would never have even bothered trying it if I hadn't gotten this message. My only issue with Lyft is when I travel overseas.
They're great. They're great in Europe. Yeah.
They're very good.
To be fair, you've probably never had a late Lyft ride in Europe.
I have not once had a problem with Lyft.
Yeah, it's fair. That's right.
I used there's an app called Free Now in Ireland that says powered by Lyft now. So if you're going to Ireland, download Free Now, and it's basically essentially Lyft, as I learned.
Is it free now?
It's not. There's nothing free about it, actually.
I was going to say, I don't think there's anything free about it.
Maybe they mean free isn't available.
Good theory.
You know what, folks? I'm a friend.
He really is.
Julian's a professional speculator now, based on all of his media appearances. He gets paid to go and how much are they paying you an hour now to do those media appearances? It's pretty lucrative, right?
It's very, very, we're making a lot of money on it. Yeah, enough. Yeah. Yes, we had, in the month of November, points that we had 29 earned media appearances. That's almost one a day.
Oh.
Well, I'm glad you did that math for us. This is why he's a founder.
If it was a 31-day month, it'd be a little less. Just let you know.
There you go.
Thanks for
slightly
stopping by,
lower.
everybody.
Yeah, the
he's
conversion
slightly lower.
percentage really drops there.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, a little bit of housekeeping, and then I want to hear about Richard's Disney cruise. You can text us 571-293-6659. You can also leave us a voicemail there. You can email us at pizzainmotion.com with all your comments and questions, including how witty the banter is on our show, and also how we should handle Kerr's contract negotiations for 2026. On social media, the baldest guy is at Kerr Points. The second baldest guy is at Points Path, and the least bald guy is at Pizza in Motion.
It's
good
kind of
way to break
close
that
over
down.
there. I don't know.
I
I'm
think
not sure I agree with
I still
that.
think I'm ahead. Yeah, I still think I'm ahead. Yeah, well, behind. However way you want to look at it. I am the least bald of the three of us. I'm just going to go with that. So Mr. Kerr, let's talk about your Disney cruise. It was obviously a surprise to me to see you drop for a Disney cruise, and it turned out it was only because they had this incredible sale.
That's right.
So I want to hear. I obviously had some text from you that made it sound like it might not have been as perfect as Disney cruises are made out to be.
No, I know this is Julian's favorite topic, is once again talking Disney. That's why he gets on this show all the time. He can't get enough of it. Loves it.
Give it a couple of years.
Love the Disney.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Give it a couple of years. But yeah.
Give a couple years for sure. Yeah, Disney came out a few months ago with a 40% off holiday cruises, and I was like, 40? I don't see that kind of number that Disney throws around very often. And it turns out everybody else on that ship saw that same number. It's because there was quite a few people in a small world that were on the same cruise. We were on the boat deck for the lifeboat drill, and I got a text that said, "Hey, Kerr, look left." I look over there, and shout out to Eric Lang from Delta Sky Miles. He was like, "What's up?" He was standing right there. So I was, shout out to Eric, who does the good work running redemptions for Sky Miles. He also saw the 40% deal, and then a few other business partners. I'll tell you what, it was a holiday sailing, so obviously with the holidays and everybody out of school and the deals they were throwing around, every stateroom was obviously packed, and I'm surprised that there weren't like cots down in steerage for old school bookings. It was just jam packed, man. Like, we were on the Disney Dream, lovely ship. I've done 3 Disney cruises, and for some reason they've all been on the Disney Dream. I think just the schedule and prices lined up. I'll go through this very quickly. The overall thing is I had to work really hard to relax because it was so crowded, and that's not very fun. But such is the Disney life. But we didn't have that experience the first 2 Disney cruises. Kids loved it. Kids were at the age at 9 and 11 where we gave them a little bit more freedom this time around. So we would tell them, hey, you can go from the stateroom to the kids club, be back, in the stateroom in 2 hours to check in. And they thought having that freedom was the greatest thing in the world. So Thomas and Mary absolutely loved it. We did look out the new Disney private island that you have to walk 1.5 miles down the pier to get to the tram, to take the 10-minute tram ride to get to the beach. That was just atrocious weather the day that we pulled in, and there was black flag, so you couldn't get in the water. I don't understand a lot about that island at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's no shade.
That transition sounds like trying to get to Terminal A at Newark Airport. So
it's pretty. It's about the same number of steps to do that. If you went to that island in July when it was hot, I don't get it, man. Like, I do not get it. And then the developed beach area, there's not a lot of shade, period, the way that thing is set up. So that's a hard pass for me. But Castaway Cay, the original Disney Island, always a great time. We sat up some chairs on the beach, watched Thomas and Mary go down the water slide 80 times, and that was great. That was like the most relaxing part of the trip. Otherwise, I would just say, yeah, man, like, it was, just crowded, like, just not very peaceful, not restful. Nothing particularly wrong with the cruise. I will say the food was objectively gross this time around. Like, it was, wow. We skipped dinner the last 2 times and kind of like did the buffet thing or the room service or just whatever, because dinner was just, it was inedible. Like, it just was.
Wow. So this is a guy who was in the Navy.
Right.
Yeah. My gosh.
Hey, submarine cooks are the best cooks in the world. Don't bash those guys. That was some good food. Right. Emily and I did the adults only Palo the last night. I would say the food was substantially better than the main dining room. We had an incredibly odd server from an Eastern European country who just kind of made it awkward. That was a little bit weird. He had just started. He told us, he let us know, and I don't think he learned the cultural differences between Eastern Europe and America yet, where it was, very abrasive, very matter of fact. That's just the culture versus, fine dining and high service in the U.S., where we were kind of like, all right, this is not very enjoyable now because our buddy here has made it super weird. I ordered a cocktail after specifically asking him. I was like, hey, I don't want anything sweet. Like, I don't want it sweet. And he was like, okay, this one. I ordered it and I took one sip and I was like, this is literally a glass of sugar water. Like, I think we got something lost in translation
Mission
here.
accomplished.
So he walked by and I was like, hey man, can I just get an old fashioned? Like, this one's a little bit too sweet for me. And he was like, well, I told you that was going to be sweet. And he was like, I can't make any promises, but let me go get my manager to see if I can take this off your bill. And like, it got really weird where I was like, all right, like what's the deal with this cruise? Like just not hitting the spot for us. But end of the day, was in the warm sun for a few days, did find some few relaxing pockets around there, and the kids had a great time. So can't say I'm clamoring to get back on a Disney cruise anytime, but the kids loved it, and I wasn't freezing in New York City. So not a bad time when you look at it overall.
So just to wrap it up, let's say the food was passable in the main dining rooms instead of substandard like it was. If it was as crowded as you had before, would you go on that cruise again at a 40% discount?
No, I wouldn't. I don't think so.
Wow. At 40, how about 50? 50%.
Yeah, maybe 52, and that'll get us over the hump.
Yeah, we'll get you
No.
50.
I mean, I do think there's going to be some softness in 2026 in the cruise industry, not just because of the economy, but because of the number of new ships coming on board. So I expect we'll continue to see low prices. But, as you alluded to, Disney's pricing is already much higher than all the other cruises. So even with a 40% discount, you're still ahead of the Royal Caribbeans and those guys. And you cruised, I'm trying to remember, was it MSC that you did?
Yeah, we've done. Emily and I both, we talked about it afterwards. We both objectively like MSC better than that Disney experience. So it was good.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I would say, when our kids were of the age that your kids are now, it was a great time for Disney because there were a bunch of cruises that really folded into things that our son loved at that point. Marvel, Star Wars, stuff like that. And so it was really going for all the unique experiences, less so about the food and the itinerary and the islands and stuff like that. If you're not going for something that's very specific like that, then you really are paying a lot more for the rest of it than if you cruised on Royal or MSC or one of those guys.
Yeah, there's just a lot of behavior as well that was, as always, questionable. Where you just like this is the first time these people have left their house. Like,
I don't think that's unique to Disney cruises.
I know it's not, and that's why I just think like, is this phase of my
That may
life
not be
where-
unique to cruises. It might be humanity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we see a lot of
gets
that in
an
Vegas.
airport
Let
or
me
cruise
tell you.
ship and they lose their minds. Just
Yeah.
really, it's just like that was the most unnecessary thing I've ever seen anybody do ever. Like, why was that? Like, why did that just occur? I don't know, but I don't want to be here. So, we'll take it. I told him, I was like, I think, can we book like another short cruise over the Christmas break just to make sure that we still like cruising, or we don't even want to do that? Like, was this like
A cruise palate cleanser is what he's on.
yeah. Can we get, there's an MSC ship that leaves out of Brooklyn over the time the kids are out of school for Christmas that I was like, hey, like, is it worth like checking this out and make sure it was just a Disney thing versus MSC? Like, I don't know. I think one of the best things about MSC was we went the whole week on the last one. We didn't meet another American. Like, it was, not the same behaviors and personalities that we had on the Disney cruise was one of the most enjoyable things about it. So maybe that was it. I don't know. That's enough of that. Sorry, Mickey. Might be a while before I give you some more money there on the
if
cruise
we're going to
line.
lift one tagline from Richard's review, I think it was, quote, "I don't want to be here." I think that really summed it up with what you just said.
Sorry, Mickey, we beat Mickey to death. Yeah. Well, just to wrap this, I'll say, just remember that if you do book a Brooklyn cruise, you got a pretty decent amount of sailing before you get to, warm, smooth waters. And I don't have any problem leaving from Brooklyn or Baltimore in spring, summer, fall months. I don't know that I'd chance it around Christmas. Water's going to be rougher, and it's obviously going to be pretty cold pool day for the first day and the last day of that cruise.
But those days where that ship is rocking, that's my favorite. Like, I love it. I'd bring it on.
I'm sure that's the case. I'm not sure that your wife and kids will feel the same way.
No, the boat was barely rocking one day, and they were like falling over each other in the hallway. Like, I can't walk straight. I'm like, guys, it's not even, no.
Just like, hold my beer. All right. Well, real quick to talk about our sponsors before we dig in a little bit into this Frontier offer, and then talk a little bit about why Julian's sitting beside me today. It was another great week for Thrifty offers. It's like, that we have, copy that we can read that sounds, great about what Thrifty Traveler offers. But I think just talking about these deals on a weekly basis, 102,000 Delta Sky Miles one way in Delta One to Australia. I mean, that's unbelievable. I remember seeing a line when they released that a few days ago where they said something like, haven't seen rates like that in years. I can't remember when it was 100,000 Sky Miles to Australia. Was there a time?
Right? Yeah, maybe before we were born.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah. I mean, that's an incredible offer. I got a text alert on that as a unicorn alert along with the email. And then there was another offer that just happened to come out at the perfect time, which coincided with the built rent day, which was, they were 80 to 100,000 mile one way, or 80 to 100,000 Avios one way to Europe. They also had Japan Airlines had reasonable deals on that for like 65 to 70,000 one way. But because it came out literally on the first day of the month, and because Richard, you guys at Built were doing the 100% point transfer, you could effectively get 50, I think it was 54, 55,000 Avios one-way flights to Europe in business class. I mean, just a phenomenal deal that happened to line up with an incredible rent day. So, I know that things are a little bit softer now, and we're going to talk a little bit about that when we talk about the points path updates. But it really just seems like the deals that we're seeing on a weekly basis from Thrifty Traveler more than pay for a subscription if you can even take advantage of just one a year. Well said, Julian.
Yeah, you're welcome. Ditto.
What she said.
What?
Yeah, well, are there any she's? The three of us, yeah. So anyway, they had a great Black Friday sale. If you didn't get in on that, we do have 20% off. So if you use the code GO20, you'll have a link to that in the show notes. There's also a QR code on the screen for thriftytraveler.com/premium. Mr. Kerr, did you jump in on Brisbane for 100,000 Sky Miles one way?
No, I don't know what I'm doing next week. My name's not Summer Hull, so I don't have through 2028 planned out.
Oh,
so I can't.
When she listens to this episode,
yeah, that's why I said it.
Think you're safe, yeah.
Yeah. Not gonna happen. No, I can't. I don't know my schedule 2 weeks from now. Like I would throw it out there, and I would like 98% chance just be canceling it. So maybe I should have. But also, it was only 2 stop itineraries from New York City. You had to go to Detroit, and then you had to go to LA, and then Brisbane, and that just sounds miserable for that. So I was out on that one, as attractive as it was. And hey, shout out to Eric, who runs the redemptions for Sky Miles. Like what you're doing, man. Thanks for taking that cruise with me so I could talk you into putting that deal out there.
Yeah, we have Richard to thank for putting that deal out there because of his Disney cruise and because of the really bad food in the restaurants. That's our full circle Disney moment. It's very special.
Yeah, we certainly had a lot more beer than food on that cruise. That was that was true.
I will just note that I think I do know what you're doing in like 6 or 7 weeks. I'm pretty sure you still have a safari booked for maybe
I have an outbound flight with no hotel safari or return flight booked, which is usually the way my trips go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that sounds like one of my trips.
Yeah, that's about I have booked too. Yeah.
Usually I have the return booked first, and then I'm like, oh well, I guess we're gonna get there. Yeah.
Right. Well, we want to talk a little bit about Frontier in just a second, but Dan and Slack noted that there's some change in the way United is pricing their close-in awards. And I thought that was a really good segue to talk a bit about points paths. So for folks that haven't listened over the past few weeks, United recently started effectively surcharging close-in bookings. So if you're trying to book within a couple weeks of travel, the flights were moderately more expensive. And this was mostly domestic, and it was, call it roughly an extra 5,000 miles if you're booking within 2 weeks of your departure date. Seems to have gone away, but there's this general indication lately, Julian, that United miles have become less rewarding when it comes, at least specifically to what I would say North American travel. There's still the occasional deal that pops up for Europe and Asia, but I'm really struggling to find great award pricing for anything domestic on United right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, listen, and to be fair, this has been, it's not even just something that's happened suddenly. It's been a long, slow, but very consistent process where United miles have become less and less and less valuable. And I think, frankly, they're copying Delta.
Yep.
They're sort of decided that, look, people are not paying attention to the value of our miles, which they should be to be clear. And so we're just going to, slowly reduce the value. When you're looking at domestic U.S. programs and points path, our data is very clear on this. You should be looking at American and Alaska. That's where the value is, especially on partner bookings. And even with American, you can still get one-way business class year, $57K if you look for it, which is an amazing deal in 2020, almost 2026. So yeah, but it's absolutely true. I think it's, and I don't think it's going to stop. And this close-in thing, I'm not sure where they're going with that. If that maybe it just was a holiday thing, because it did coincide roughly with holiday bookings and things like that. But I think this is inexorable decline in what you're going to be able to get with your United miles.
Yeah, I did test when I saw the note from Dan and Slack. I did test holiday bookings about a half hour before we recorded, and those all seem to have settled down too without a surcharge. So I don't know if that means that they got the number of bookings they were hoping for and they decided to reduce pricing again. So a little bit unclear on what's going to happen here, but I think what's really great news is that, something that from the very beginning of, Points Path and where you guys were heading, something that users have asked for from day one is now officially a reality when this episode drops.
It is. In fact, it's officially a reality when we are recording this episode, but it is officially publicly announced by the time this episode drops, which is that our iOS extension for iPhones and iPads is live in the Apple App Store. Anybody can go download it onto their iPhone or iPad and use Points Path on a mobile basis. And we are, even though we have not, as of the time we're recording this, publicly announced that it's there, we're already seeing a bunch of downloads of people just finding it through the App Store, through our website. So I think it's going to be very popular. I love it. I've been using it, obviously. Our Founders Club members,
Except for Richard.
No, it's on my phone. It's on my phone.
Okay.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Our Founders Club members, though, get early access to all of our new features. So they have been playing with it for about 2 months, I would say now. And we got some great feedback from them and made a few tweaks. But they have reported that they really like it too. And they've said, make sure when you put it out for everybody that we still have it. So I've said, don't worry, we'll make sure you do. But it has not been easy. Created, and to be clear, it only works in Safari and iOS because Apple does not allow Chrome extensions in iOS, and actually neither does Android. So that's an issue that we'll need to solve in the future. But it really does make a difference to have that mobile experience. A lot of people still book travel on desktops. It's the data shows it, and you talk to people, they say, well, I'm going to book a big trip. I sit down at the computer, but they research on their phones. They see something on Instagram, and they pull up Google Flights and say, oh, well, that's good. What's that going to cost? So for us to be there with them is very exciting. And then we have some really exciting stuff coming. I should also mention our Pro plan, our paid plan now has 16 airlines in airline programs, including Air France, including Avianca, including Virgin Atlantic, including Singapore, TAP. They're all in there now. So, and we've gotten great feedback about that too. So in any case, we have a lot of we've come a long way, but we have a lot of very exciting things coming. We have a UI revamp for our desktop version that is on the way that should be rolling out here in the next few weeks. I think is really going to improve the desktop version even beyond what we currently do. And then we've got a lot of fun plans in the start of 2026 too. So, but please, if you've got an iPhone or iPad, download it, give it a try, and let me know what you think, because we're always working to improve as well.
Yeah, I definitely think there was some work that went into designing the iPhone version, just because Google Flights doesn't have what I would call the most elegant way to lay stuff out as it is today. On a desktop, there's plenty of space, but you mentioned Founders Club. Care to whisper for the listeners or viewers when there might be another opportunity for them to get the Founders Club?
Yeah, because Founders Club, we only open to new members twice a year, and so we've already finished that for 2025. But I would say early 2026, I would look maybe in the second half of January. Watch your email box and watch our pricing page for a short-term window to join Founders.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
There you go.
Julian, you said something interesting that reminds me. I'm going to let everybody on a little secret. Does anybody want to know one of the weirdest things about me?
Yes, please.
Well, hold on. I've already got a list.
It's a high bar.
I only use Instagram on desktop.
What? Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Has it always been that way for you? Or is that just because the recent problem you had with sharing stuff?
Did I have problems with sharing?
You mean like click on links? I can't. You couldn't click. Yeah, you said you couldn't click on links when I sent them to you.
4 out of 5 of my group chats I'm in just share reels back and forth. And about 2 months ago, I started clicking and it would just only open in web view. And no matter how many times I've Googled, asked Claude, ChatGPT, what setting changed in my phone, that'll only open up links in web view. I got really tired of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm talking to you on Instagram, I'm on a laptop computer.
And that is ironic because apparently I can only use Uber on a desktop. So it all works out.
It really does.
So between carry the two of you, carry that cell phone-enabled laptop around with you. That's call that Uber.
Hey, I'm going to call it an Uber. Let me just get my MacBook out.
All right. Well, Mr. Kerr, you flagged this Frontier offer, and surprisingly, I got it as well. So I don't necessarily know how widely targeted it is because it's been a while since I've flown Frontier. You've obviously flown them much more recently than I have. This is a really interesting offer. And again, I think it leans into this, a little bit of softness in travel. What's 2026 going to look like? But do you want to go through the details of this offer?
Yeah, I will. I think this is, I'm right on the edge here, teetering. So here you got two different options. First of all, number one thing is you have to opt in. So make sure you don't just go and do this without opting in. But it says, look, book 2 round trip flights totaling at least $300. So Ed, that's $150 per round trip. Or you could do one round trip for $200 and one for $100, as long as it equals $300. Book it by December 9th and travel by March 11th, and you will get elite gold status through all of 2026. Pretty good, right? That's pretty good right there. You got a full year of gold elite status. But wait, there's more.
And to be clear, gold status gives you free carry-on. It gives you some of the preferred seating, but I think not all. If I remember
Preferred seats at booking, premium seat upgrades at check-in, upfront plus 4 hours prior to departure, group one boarding, priority customer care, no change or cancel fees, and a free carry-on bag.
So a pretty solid bucket of stuff, and I would say like probably going to save you easily $40 or $50 a flight if you're carrying a bag on.
Yeah, you can book the cheapest fare and you get a carry-on and seat selection. So like great, like that's all, you're good. But continue on. If you get 3 more round trip flights totaling at least $450, so if you're doing that math, they're aiming for a $150 round trip per ticket. So at least $750 of spend overall, and you complete that travel by September 30th. So you got to take 7 round trip flights in the next 10 months. You will earn elite platinum status through 2027. So if you did 7 round trip flights, like 1 round trip flight a day for the next week, you would be top tier platinum for the next 2 years for $750.
I think I got a slightly different offer than you. I got 2 round trip flights, two more round trip flights to earn the elite platinum status. So I'm better than you.
Also, yours doesn't seem to have a amount. A required spend amount, does it?
No, it's not listed there on that.
This
page.
is not listed.
Maybe it's because I'm existing gold now. Did you opt into that gold thing they had for $49 like 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah, I missed it. So
maybe that's why mine's a little bit higher since I'm already elite.
Mine's even better. I only have to fly. So mine is the same. Mine's the same beginning one, but then I only have to purchase 2 round trip flights to and complete travel by June 30th of 2026 to earn elite platinum status through 2027.
And the benefits for platinum are great. Like, they're pretty good.
That's the companion.
Well, you get
right?
you get a companion, and you can and it's much more. The companion benefit is much more flexible than some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember all the parameters behind it, but I remember when they rolled it out, I was thinking like, wow, that's great. I could have Michelle on one trip and then one of the kids on the next trip, and then go back to Michelle without a whole lot of problem.
Yeah, I mean. The fact that I'm not seeing this picked up, where it's a companion pass for 2 years for $750, and it's great. Like I think everybody should be doing. And Frontier just now.
But is everybody like? I don't have this offer. I
did a little Google here, and it looks like there is a public challenge right now for platinum that is pay $99 and reach 12,500 elite status points, and then you're good to go. And you can do. You have 90 days to get 12,500 points.
I don't want to do that. That sounds
fast. 10 points per dollar spent on flights, add-on bags, seats, bundles. You can get their co-brand card. Like, there's a lot of ways to do it if you really want.
I'm not spending $1,200 on Frontier in the next 3 months.
Well, this is my question: is how often? And I'm asking this legitimately. How often are you guys flying Frontier? I've literally never stepped foot on a Frontier plane.
Well, it worked really well for Richard in Atlanta. How is the schedule of the New York airports? I know you looked at Atlanta to New York, but have you looked at like New York to elsewhere on Frontier?
Yeah, they fly both out of LaGuardia and JFK. They fly to Atlanta from both of those, actually.
Right.
Was just looking at that yesterday. Potentially get home for Christmas, or home to get back to Georgia for Christmas. I am home now. Gotta get that straight in the old head there.
Congratulations.
They got plenty of routes, and they continue to expand it. I got an email yesterday that there's 23 new Frontier routes that were launched. None of them out of Atlanta, but I didn't check New York. But I mean, when Atlanta to Orlando shuttle on Frontier, $19 to get the family down to. We do that all the time,
especially with the companion, and then you get one free too if you get platinum.
Yeah, would be clutch. And then there's all the talk of who was it? The David Nealman said that JetBlue and not JetBlue, he founded JetBlue, but that Spirit and Frontier would be merging next year. There's only room for one of them, is what he said this week.
I saw that.
So we'll see what happens next year.
I don't know if you know this, but airline CEOs say a lot of things.
They do, and they're not most of the time under oath.
Yes.
So yes, you
they're
can
a little
say
bit
anything
like,
you want.
I think there's one thing that weather forecasters and airline CEOs have in common is they can say whatever they want and they're never held accountable. So
correct,
it's true.
That's right. That's right. And podcasters too. Podcasters also.
No, podcasters are definitely held accountable. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
If you guys have been
This-
having
it was
show it
pretty-
over.
How would you never listened?
I read about it on.
Sure, there you go.
Our NPS score was in my contract negotiations, so we do. Thank you, ladies.
You
and
got
gentlemen,
3 weeks to solve that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think I'm gonna give a shot at this. I just have to find the time to actually do the one Frontier flight. But they had a decent amount of Orlando service out of Dulles. They took it away. They've started ramping service back up out of Dulles. So I'm cautiously optimistic. But the fact that I would only have to take a total of 3 round trips between now and June on Frontier to earn platinum status through 2027. I mean, that's pretty appealing if I can find the right flights because I don't have the price component. So it's definitely on my radar.
I listen. I will be honest. The only I've had very little experience with Frontier. The only experience I've had recently, which was not a good one, was the last time they did that offer. I can't remember, with the $49, and we wrote about it about, I don't know, maybe a week and a half after it launched, and the landing page was still up. And one of our readers wrote me an email and said, "Yeah, it's expired." And I wrote back. I said, "Well, the landing page." He said, "Yeah, no, I went all the way through it, and it wouldn't take my credit card. And then I called them, and she said, 'Oh, yeah, that's expired.'" And I was like, "Well, why don't they take the landing page down, and so that we know it's expired? You know, we shouldn't have to go all the way through putting in a credit card to find out that it doesn't work anymore." So anyway,
That's not the first time I've heard a story. Like,
yeah. And my issue on that then is like, well, then is the whole airline operating that. So anyway, to be fair,
the answer to that is yes.
to be fair, Frontier generally hasn't gone to where I needed to go, and that's more the reason I haven't flown it. But
All right, Mr. Kerr, I think that's where we're landing the plane this week. Julie and I have to go get to a lunch meeting. But what's on your radar for travel between now and the end of the year?
I got to go to DC for a day next week. We'll be taking the old Excella down there to see some good partners. A lot of folks in the DC area. That's a very broad statement that I hope people knew before I said that. And
yeah,
then
you can
we're
see
going back
Ed's a good person.
Yeah, I'm a good
in the
partner.
DC area.
Ed is in a suburb of DC.
I do have a car though. You've driven it.
I've been to DC and seen it.
Yeah.
I'm just wanting to see where your priorities were.
We could do a 6:30 a.m. breakfast meeting.
I
near
have
the
done
White
that with
House.
that.
Yeah.
When I went to DC, that's what I did.
Could do that.
So
Yes,
he's available.
we'll schedule something up, and then a bunch of meetings here in New York City. Incredibly busy last couple of weeks before I head back to Georgia. Actually have been waiting for those ever-present Christmas flights to drop in price, which is about the most Sisyphean task that one could ever do. And then 6:45 United flight dropped to below $150 per person out of nowhere yesterday. So scooped that up really fast. All 4 of us, and the new Kerr household cat is coming apparently with us back to Georgia for some reason.
What's
We
her
don't know
name?
why. Millie Kerr is.
She looks very sweet on Instagram.
Yeah, it's all because I've trained her well here in the first month of her.
I am sure. Yeah, I'm sure you have a set of rules. Yeah.
Get to work, Millie.
Yeah. Well,
Don't paw at that.
I love that you were able to find flights home and squeeze in a reference to the word Sisyphean all in the same 15 seconds.
Clearly, it's a word of the day on his calendar.
It is.
I should get one of those. Yeah, I should get one of those.
Well, you know what? To your credit, you used it correctly this time. So
That's true. That's true.
No, it's funny. I am also looking for, because I'm trying to book Christmas travel, and I'm doing the same exercise right now.
I'm in Georgia with.
I'm going to Georgia with Millie. Yeah, that's right. No, I'm going to Los Angeles to see my family, and I have about, one of the great things about being the CEO of PointsPath is you get unlimited flight alerts. And so I have a flight alert set on pretty much every possible flight I would go on out there, and none of them have gone down. So, but we're seeing.
I think we need to have a board meeting.
Really? Let's be part. Never mind. We can cut this part of it.
Well, thankfully, I have only 3 more trips to Vegas this month, so I have a steady diet of Vegas, along with a brief stop at home to pretend that I'm gonna live there for Christmas. So
You just move everyone out here. Just move them out.
that's not gonna happen. It's really not. It's off the cards.
I want to thank Ed for having me on and inviting me over. He has 2 bottles of water here, both of which he has half drank. So there's no bottle of water for me.
Listen, I know we're not supposed to do this during podcast, but here.
And he gave me one of his AirPods to put in my ear so I could hear. So I basically am sharing AirPods with Ed, which feels a little bit like sharing brain with.
Well, there you go. We've
Oh, that's like a
resolved the water.
$15 bottle of water there. Did you get that out of the Conrad mini fridge? Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
no,
$15.
don't worry. That was blood elsewhere. I'm done. How about that done? Well, spoiler alert: the Fijis at Walgreens are cheaper than the Fijis at Conrad.
Oh, one more thing. Last night I got in late. I was hungry, so I was like, I'm just gonna go down to the Subway there and like down on the Strip. I don't know. The Five Guys were far away from where I was.
You're eating at a Subway on the Strip, though. I mean,
was just-
you call it judgment.
I know. I was hungry and it was late. What would you guys guess a regular plain old 12-inch turkey sub with the chips of the drink would cost on the
Some people call that a foot long too. Just the Subway foot long.
12-inch,
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm going to say $19.
With if it's with chips and drink, $19. What would
$19. Sorry. So this was in front of MGM, or did you walk all the way down to Planet Hollywood?
I don't know. I've been. I
Okay,
what's the address?
Once every 4 years.
How long did you walk?
I don't.
Minute.
Nah, it was probably the front of the wall.
All right. I'll go under Richard, and I'll go $17.50.
The answer is $25.40.
I
No
gotta
way.
raise our price. We'll be right back.
I swear, the woman rang me up. She goes, "It's $25.40." I go for a sandwich and a drink and chips. She goes, "Yeah, it's expensive, right?" like, yeah, it sure is.
That's a problem right
It
there.
was bonkers, man. It was
Wow,
crazy.
that is kind of crazy,
Yeah.
but I need to go raise prices.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was the only person. So
Yeah.
maybe you
Yeah.
shouldn't raise prices.
Holy moly, that's crazy.
Holy moly. All right. Well, for three bald guys talking about travel, all having to skate away for meetings, we will hopefully get to do this again soon and then bring in our partner in crime who has enough hair on her head.
You don't have to make up for the three of us. Yeah.
So we need to do that. So until we can track down Summer and until we upload again, we've got miles to go.
Are you ready?
Oh, you're going to make me lean forward too? So I'm
Well, we don't have. Yeah. Yes, so that we look normal.
That's not going to make us look normal. And
Make us look bigger.